You're listening to Menopause Natural Solutions, episode 76, To Soy or Not to Soy. Welcome to Menopause Natural Solutions, your podcast for all things perimenopause, menopause and beyond. Stay tuned as your host, naturopath Jennifer Harrington, explains how to use natural therapies to find your ultimate health and happiness during your transition. Hello ladies, it's Jen here. And I have a bit of a controversial topic for you today, and that is whether we should be consuming soy-containing foods as a phytoestrogen source during the menopausal transition. And you will find some sources that highly recommend it and others that don't recommend it. And what I thought I'd do today is let's break it down and let's talk it out. We'll find out the pros and the cons and if there is actually a middle ground when it comes to soy. So soy is a phytoestrogen source, and it is the highest source of isoflavones. It contains the main isoflavones Daidzein and Genistein, which sounds pretty good so far. So let's have a look at some of the cons. And the problem is that these isoflavones need to be converted to the active form equol. This is done in the digestive microbiome. So there's a chance that you actually can't convert these isoflavones into the active versions. And when we look at the Asian population, most of them are capable of this conversion. But if we were to look at US women as an example, unfortunately, less than 1/3 of American women are capable of converting the inactive isoflavones into the active form. Next con, it is the most genetically engineered crop on the planet. Roughly 84% is genetically modified, and GM foods are heavily sprayed with pesticides and herbicides such as glyphosate, which makes them unfavorable to consume. Next con, soy is a goitrogen. Women transitioning into menopause are at greater risk of thyroid dysfunction. Thyroid-related issues such as hypothyroidism double at this stage of life. Goitrogens reduce the thyroid's ability to function and should be avoided at this stage of life, especially if you or someone in your family has a thyroid condition. Next con, soy is a phytate. Phytates are also called anti-nutrients as they bind to minerals and make them unabsorbable. Key minerals that are impacted by the soy's phytates include iron, iodine, calcium, magnesium, and zinc. Next con, soy contains an enzyme inhibitor, tryptophan inhibitor. This impacts your ability to digest proteins and carbohydrates and may cause digestive symptoms such as bloating and flatulence. Final con is soy is a very, very common allergen. It's actually one of the big top 4 foods that cause allergies or intolerances. So you can see that there are so many reasons why, as a general rule, I do not recommend consuming soy ever, and especially not during the menopausal transition. So some women ask me, is there a middle ground? Is there a way that I can still have soy? And what I would start with is, can you find an organic source? One that hasn't been genetically modified and highly sprayed. The next thing I would look at is, how have the Japanese women traditionally eaten soy? Because a lot of the research that recommends soy during the menopausal transition is looking at Japanese women and looking at why Japanese women don't suffer from hot flushes anywhere near the amount that, say, an American woman would. But what we're doing is, when we're looking at the Japanese women, they mostly ate small portion sizes regularly of fermented soy, things like natto and miso and tempeh. And it's actually the fermenting process that reduces the number of goitrogens and phytates and enzyme inhibitors. What Western women tend to be doing is they're eating highly processed soy alternatives, such as soy protein isolate, or the fake meat products such as the hydrolyzed vegetable protein or the textured vegetable protein. These are not fermented, therefore they have all the nasties. So if you are going to eat soy, try and eat fermented soy products and try and find an organic source. Anyway, guys, if you're at a loss of what to eat at this stage of life, considering chatting to me and having a personalized consultation. Or something else you may want to consider is starting the 1st of February, our next Menopause Makeover program begins. In the Menopause Makeover program, there is a whole module dedicated to nutrition. And in this module, you will get, it's actually an app that you can put on your phone, and it will have meal planners, recipes, shopping lists, a way for you to mark how much water you've had that day, what foods you're eating, so that I can help you get your diet on track. And what I love about this app is, although that there's meal plans, there's extra recipes. So if you get to a dinner and you go, no, actually I don't like, salmon, for example, you can go through the app and you can find a different alternative that you may enjoy. I know tonight I am having from the actual recipes, chili chicken and mango. Yum. Can't wait. Anyway, guys, enough from me this week. It's just short and sweet. And I wanted to explain to you, why some people recommend soy, why some people don't. And hopefully you can see that there's a lot of reasons to have it and a lot of reasons not to have it. And I think if you can try and get back to the Japanese traditional fermented sources, and if you can find an organic source of those, then this is fine. But if you're not, if you're going to have what we buy in a Western supermarket, then don't do it to yourself. You don't need the added risk of your thyroid. You don't need the added risk of not being able to absorb your nutrients or breaking down your carbs and your proteins or creating an allergy. That's it from me this week. I look forward to chatting to you again next week. Next week, I have a special interview with my friend Jolia, who is a building biologist, to talk to us about healthy homes. And in particular, we're going to be discussing mold and how that impacts our health and actually can cause very similar symptoms to menopause because mold is a xenoestrogen. Okay, until next week. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to Menopause Natural Solutions. This podcast contains general information about menopause. It is provided as a guide and it is not intended to replace medical advice. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please leave a rating and review.